mission, called to be itinerant on challenging frontiers. The theme of this extended council is taken from our final document of 2009. 2 years ago, at that general chapter, we were called to enlarge the site of our tent, to lengthen our cords, and to strengthen our stakes. In essence, we were called to be more deeply rooted, to expand our hearts and minds in trying to assess and candidly respond to the urgencies of the planet. During those days of discernment, in response to the Spirit, we committed ourselves to grow in interdependence and create new partnerships, to explore new ministries on the frontiers, to experience the risk of itinerancy, to be present to the immigrants and displaced persons, and to live all of this as a result of the deepening of our own personal prayer life. All of us returned to our provinces, regions, and missions after the general chapter and have been reflecting on and implementing some of these commitments from the general chapter during these past 24 months. Do not worry, we don't expect that you already implemented all of them during these 24 months. Today, and during these following weeks, we gather as elected leaders to explore more deeply some of these topics and to honestly share the realities in which we minister and in which we attempt to live out these commitments. We gather as those responsible for articulating with detail some means of implementing these commitments as a congregation. We gather as a support of one another and to challenge one another, as together we see how we can be faithful to these commitments. We will bring new clarity to the ideas expressed 2 years ago, as we weave ribbons of our realities with the hopes and desires expressed in these commitments. The word itinerant, which may be used as a noun or an adjective, comes from the Latin itinerari, meaning a way, a road, a journey. It also means one who travels from place to place, often in search of work or as part of one's work. We, as Apostolic Women Religious, currently experience a new stage on our journey of seeking the work God is asking of us today. We are experiencing new challenges on frontiers. Frontiers which, at one time, we thought were familiar to us. One of these frontiers is apostolic religious life itself, which is evolving very quickly in many of our countries. Since the winds of Vatican II blew through our lives, we have been on a journey to live our call more authentically in line with our founding vision and charism. We have continued on this path of faithfulness, which led us through changes which were unimaginable at that time. Changes in dress, ministries, daily schedules, community governance, and in how we live and define community. We are called to be apostolic women religious. As theologian Sister Sandra Schneider, IHM from the United States, mentioned in her presentation at the Theological Seminar in Rome this year, this call to be apostolic women religious means to be immersed in the world in order to serve the needs of the world. This immersion, so different from the monastic or contemplative model of religious life, which had been an adaptation of which, we had followed throughout the centuries, has often been misunderstood as radical individualism, resulting in grave criticism. So our immersion in the world, in the reality of the world, has been seen sometimes as individualism. In some cases, sisters have been silenced or treated as outcasts by the very church and society they desire to serve. We need to be open to new, unimaginable changes and discover new ways of living our consecration as women religious in order to be faithful to our call. A call which is to be rooted not in the status quo, but rather to be rooted in God and open to ongoing growth in becoming fully who God is gracing us to become. Another frontier is the institutional church within which we were baptized, developed our faith life, and in which we responded to the personal call from Jesus to live a life with Jesus as the focus of our love. This church, now in turmoil itself, demands transparency from us, while it, for the most part, continues to live in a cloud of doctrine and secret. We seek real dialogue and mutuality within our church, but it is not often possible. Although we have good relationships with many priests and bishops, many of our sisters have been treated unjustly by other priests and bishops. Our experience on this frontier is leading us to explore further and to name more clearly the essentials of religious life today, and to move forward with those who wish to live and proclaim the gospel. The church is the people of God, and so it is with and to God's people that we offer our presence and compassionate service.